Hello, hello, hello. I am live, so I'm just going to jump straight in today. I think today is day 12 or 13. I can't remember. I'm starting to lose count, but I am doing 365 days of lives. Whether you watch it or not, I'm still doing them. This is really more for me than for you. And throughout these 365 days, I'm going to be sharing the journey of my life. So, with my hair scraped up on the top of my head and my glasses on, I just wanted to share today's nugget, which is big dreams, big plans, and feeling super energized. And why am I talking about that? Well, I woke up this morning like every other morning and just got into my day. And I was reflecting that I'm trying to think when it was in 2021. In October 2021, I attended an event. It was an online event and it was about our dreams, our visions, our plans, goals, if you will. But these weren't just any dreams or visions or plans. These were what Laura Langmeyer refers to as big, hairy, audacious goals. You know, the kind of goals that might be bucket list type of goals you put on your to-do list. And in some respects, you hope that it will come about and you go for it. Well, in this event, as I say, it was an online event. The person hosting the event shared a number of different techniques we could do to kind of keep that vision alive. So myself and my accountability buddy, we continued to discuss these plans and dreams and everything else as time went on. And it was just this morning when I was sharing with a group of people that I'm connected with on Facebook, as it happens, a group of women, when I realised that out of the four big, hairy, audacious plans, that two of them have been ticked off my list. So I want to talk about why that matters, not for me, but for anyone who's got big dreams and big plans. So big dreams and big plans often won't seem like they're doable, often won't seem like they're achievable. And they're the sort of big dreams and plans that you have that when you tell somebody around you, be it your family, your friends, your kids, your partner, your dog, your cat, you'll receive like a bit of a funny look, normally because they don't get it. And the reason they don't get it is because it's not their big dream or big plan. So that's a big dream or big plan, one that maybe has you go, can I do it or not? Why it matters. So many people feel bound by their lives. They want to live a life of freedom. And for many people across the world, they're lucky enough to not live in a regime where they're not allowed to speak openly. You know, there are countries in the world where I wouldn't be able to do this live and talk about some of the topics I talk about. But here in the UK, in London, I can. So the reason why it's important is it gives our lives a certain element of freedom. Anyone who goes to work and has an appraisal, you'll be asked to set some goals. Anybody who's ever raised a family, you'll be setting goals for the family. It could be you set a goal in, you know, in your relationships. It could be that you set goals in your business if you're a business owner. But big, hairy, audacious goals are the sorts of goals that have you actually think, how can this happen? Why could it happen? And they will bring in an element of doubt. They will have you say, this is too big. I can't do this. I'm going to take a sip of my mint tea because my voice is going. In my Jenny mug that the lady who made this design, who designed this design, got for me. Got Jenny Kovacs on that side and JK on the other side. At the moment, I'm going to use it to oil my throat and take a sip of my drink. Mint tea. So it matters because if we want to live a life that feels free, a life where we feel that we can do a lot of the things we want to do, often for ourselves and the people around us, then it's really, really important to at least have those goals in mind and ways of taking a step towards the goals. By the way, the other two goals that I've written down, I've started to kind of put irons in the fire. So my hope is, and hope being have only positive expectations, My hope is that they will come to fruition. So I just wanted to share some of the things that I've done. And now I'm not saying that this is the absolute gospel or the law, but what I am saying is these are just some of the ideas that you might want to take on for your own goals as well. And just to be clear, these these sorts of things are things that I've shared with people, whether they have never set a goal before, whether they are living a life that you might look out from the outside in and go, wow, that's amazing. They do all the things, delivery, they do all the things, they live in a big house, or they, have this certain type of persona or business. It doesn't really matter about anyone else. This is just for you. So here are a couple of things that I have done, keeping this context free so that you can put your own ideas and goals into it. So the first thing I did was I listened, but I listened with what's known as a beginner's mind. I attend a lot of events. I love personal development. I love personal growth. But anytime I attend an event, I'll always listen as if I've never heard the topic before. Why do I do that? The beginner's mind allows me to get I already know this, I've done this before, I've tried it before, and then go down the rabbit hole of, it might not work, and all of those things, which is the biggest reason that people don't go for goals. They don't see any evidence of it around them. They've tried it before, they've thought it before, and maybe it didn't work out the way that they wanted it to. So the first thing was I took on the information with a beginner's mind. No, I already know this. I've done this before. I know that already, or any variations of that. Second thing that I did was I made sure that I wrote them down. Now, there are some schools of thought that will tell you to write them down all day, every day, 60 times a day. There's some school of thoughts that will tell you to write it on a certain date, in a certain time, in a certain way. And, you have to find what's best for you. But on this occasion, I wrote them down whilst I was at the event, and I started to envision it, like taste it, smell it, touch it, as if it had already happened. Now, why would I do that? The reason that I did that was because I wanted a sense of almost like what to look out for as the steps went forward, which I know sounds bonkers and bizarre, especially if you've never kind of done this thing before. It seems a bit of a strange thing to do, but I embodied it. So I wrote it down and I embodied it, which is kind of step 3, the tasting it, smelling it, touching it. This became important. And not only did I do that, the repetition of that, I feel, was the thing that made the biggest difference. It meant that any opportunity that came up for any of those things, I was there ready. I knew where to spend my time, when not to spend my time, where to share, where not to share, where to focus and where not to focus, and all sorts of things like that. But it's almost like if you imagine that you're walking up a staircase of 1,000 steps, you're not going to see all 1,000 in the same view. If you're driving down a dark street at night on a bike or in a car and you've got lights, you're not going to see the whole journey. You're only going to see the bits in front of you. And that kind of almost visualization of it really, really helped. Next thing I did, point number 4, was that I listened to a lot of stuff that fed my mind, that juices me, that jazzed me up. It's quite easy. And even this morning I did it. I can click on social media, see a really sad post from, friends and things like that. And those aren't negative things. A lot of people say, but if someone's writing about something bad happening, that's negative. That's not a negative mindset. What is are entering the sorts of rooms or conversations where people are poo-pooing your ideas, dismissing what you do, etc., etc., etc. Those are more negative because they can pull you out of the trap of what it is that you really want to do, and can leave you feeling, like, what's the point? Why bother trying? So one of the things I do, I will feed my mind. It could be listening to something that's motivational. It could be watching something that makes me laugh. It could be something that reminds me of who I am, because remember that I've already smelt it, tasted it, touched it, seen it and everything else like that. So for me, if I can go back to that place, I can kind of tie these pieces together. Okay. And then the other thing that I did was that I kept taking any actions, like literally the 1,000 staircase, any steps that would take me closer to my dreams, even at times when I thought, gosh, how on earth is this going to happen? I put myself in the room, I got myself into the conversations. I was surrounded by people who at least believed in what I was sharing. And there were some times where I would share things and people would poo-poo the ideas. They would tell me, like, I really don't think that's possible. You don't want to do it like that. You want to do it like this. Oh, my cousin tried that and it didn't work, and all variations of that. And that's really important. It's a bit like, I remember when my nephew was about 3, his grandma bought him some strawberry plants. He loved eating strawberries, and grandma bought him these strawberry plants and told him, if you plant them in your garden and water them every day, you will have strawberries that grow on it. Now, to a 3-year-old, that was a hard concept to grasp. To me, as an adult, it's easy to grasp. To grandma, as an adult, it's easy to grasp. But to little nephew of 3 years old, what my nephew didn't realize was, when the plants are put in the ground, they're not going to be put in the ground with strawberries already on them. So, as his grandma said, every day went and watered them until about day 3. He thought, this is rubbish. There's no strawberries on here. So he pulled them out, saw the roots, had a look, no strawberries there, and would just like drop them on the top of the soil. We had to explain to him, if you leave them there and water them, first will become like a little bud, then a flower, then the petals will drop off, and then the middle will turn into a strawberry, and there's a process. And when we're looking at our big dreams, our big plans, and we feel super energized about it, all wrapped into one, regardless of what's being seen around us, these things come to fruition. So don't be like my nephew at 3 that keeps pulling up the roots and looking and saying, oh, but it's not here yet. There's no point. Keep nurturing it, watering it, whatever that is to you, and keep doing that until you see the fruits of your labor. As I say, it will literally guide you in the direction of to do or not to do. So that's my insight for today. Can't wait to share with you some of the juicy nuggets that are coming through. But until this time, I will see you tomorrow for whatever day we're on tomorrow of a visible life, 365 days of lives. See you then. Let me know what your goals are if you want to share, or let me know what your tips are when you have a goal that you want to come to fruition. That's it. Bye for now.